Shalom, everyone. My name is Rabbi Ilan Adler, and welcome to my course on the book of Vayikra, which is the book of Leviticus, the third book of the Torah. And today we look at the very last Torah portion of Vayikra, Leviticus, and this Torah portion is called Bechukotai. Bechukotai, which means if you walk in my statutes and in my laws, meaning if you follow my decrees that I have given through the Torah, then good will happen. Basically, if you don't follow, not so good will happen. We find in a Jewish law that there are three categories of commandments. Jewish people have, according to the Torah, 613 commandments. 248 are thou shalt do whatever, and 365 thou shalt not do. All of these can be divided into three categories. One category is called edot, which means they're related to giving witness to various things that God has given us. For example, God has given us the Sabbath. God has given us the commandment of circumcision, and that is a symbol of the relationship between the Jewish people and God. God has given us the shofar on Rosh Hashanah. God has given us the commandment to build a sukkah. He's given us the commandment to eat matzah as a kind of a bread only, matzah, on Passover. So these are all kind of called edot. These give witness and testimony to various gifts that God has given us. Another category is called chukim, non-rational. Separate wool and linen. Don't wear them together. What, does that make a better society? It doesn't seem to make a lot of rational sense. For the Jewish people, separate between milk and meat. Does that make a better society? I don't know. But there are certain laws that we have that God has commanded us. If we understand it, great. Even if we don't, just know there's wisdom behind it, even if we may not understand it. Then there's a third category called mishpatim, laws. These are mostly social laws. These are laws that we can easily understand. Don't steal, don't kill, don't gossip, don't covet. Yeah, these have a bearing on the kind of society we can become. So these are understandable, easy to understand. And God says in the beginning of the Torah portion, if you follow these laws, you will have rain in its time. The land will yield produce, the trees will yield fruit, and you'll be able to eat bread to satiety. Means you'll have as much as you need to be satiated. And more, you will dwell securely in your land.
Are you enjoying this Bible class? Take your study deeper with Bible Plus. Explore over 200 courses taught by expert Israeli educators, right from the land where it happened. Get a free month trial using the code BibleStudy at checkout. The link is in the description below. Now back to your class.
So God says in this Torah portion of Bechukotai, if you go in my laws and statutes, he says the reward for that is rain, fruit, produce. You'll eat till you're full. You'll dwell securely. 13 blessings for following in the commandments. However, if not, and this is the oive part, if you will, if not, God gives us a series of 29 curses. Among them, there are admonitions, warnings of all kinds, punishments, consequences, and the punishments get worse and worse as the Torah portion goes along. For example, you as a nation will experience panic. You will experience illness if you don't follow. Nothing will grow. Imagine you'll put seeds in the ground and nothing will grow. You'll be struck down before your enemies bring you the sword. Even before they come after you, you will be struck down. And the Torah portion continues with various kinds of consequences. There will be fury. Your cities will be in ruin. You'll all experience weakness in your heart. And God says over and over, I will bring you these punishments. Ready for this term? If you are casual with me. If you are casual with me. Every time I read that term, whether it's in the Hebrew or the English, it always catches my attention. What an interesting, deep way to put a relationship with God that is not serious. And this is what God is talking about. I want you to be serious in our relationship. But if you treat me casually, God is saying, I will treat you casually. So if you ho-hum me, I may end up ho-humming you. It's not a good place to be in, by the way, to be ho-hummed by God, to be treated as less by God. But he says, if you treat me as less, I will end up treating you as less. So we find this phrase repeated. Don't be casual with me. Don't make me as an asterisk in your life. Don't make me a footnote in your life. That's a way of being casual. Make me the statement of your life. Make me the focus of your life, not an afterthought in your life. And if you will be casual with me, I will be casual with you. Here is the saving grace in all of that. At the end of this listing of the blessings and the curses, God promises, but I will remember you. I will not reject you forever. Meaning that these punishments, the severity of these punishments, I will bring upon you, but not forever. I will bring upon you until such time as you turn yourselves around and you stop making me a casual recipient of your attention. And when you start taking me seriously, that's when you know all of these punishments will end. So, why does God bring these punishments? And they're awful. There's no way to sugarcoat it. Read it to yourself in the Torah portion of Bechukotai, the very end of the book of Leviticus. You'll see them and you'll say to yourself, oh my gosh, who can survive this? Who can live through this? But God is telling us, I will come back to you. All of what I do is a way to bring you back, a way to regret you're treating me casually. And I want to bring you back so that you will take me seriously once again. This is all a means to an end. And the end point is you shall return to your mission and to your destiny as Jewish people, as a Jewish nation, back in its Jewish homeland. Why will I bring you back to the homeland? Because here in Israel is where the nations will best see your light unto the nations. I compare that to if you have 1,000,000 10-watt bulbs scattered all over the place, 1,000,000 10-watt bulbs. But if you take all the 1,000,000 10-watt bulbs and put them in the same location, you have to agree it's a much brighter light and beacon than 1,000,000 10-watt bulbs scattered all over the place. So this is what God is telling us. I want to bring you back, the Jewish people, into the land of Israel so that all of your 10-watt bulbs can be concentrated here in the Holy Land of Israel. And from here, you can be the best and the greatest and the most shining light unto the nations when you do it here together as one shining beacon. Last thing I'll mention about the Torah portion of Bechukotai is that you would expect a spiritual reward for spiritual behavior. So when God says, if you keep my laws and my statutes, etc., I will reward you with rain in its time, the trees will yield their fruit. I kind of expected something more spiritual than that. Not exactly sure what, but that sounds like everyday kinds of stuff. You'll eat till you're full. It didn't feel spiritual. The reward didn't sound spiritual. It sounded like an everyday kind of a reward. But I think what God means to say is that when you have what you need and you're not worried about having what you need, then you can more easily turn to your spiritual endeavors. When you have rain in its time, when you can pay your bills, when you have a job, when you have your food, when your children are satisfied, you have the clothing that you need. Doesn't sound that spiritual, but when you have all of that, and when God blesses you with all of these blessings, that you have what you need, then with lack of worry, you can now direct yourselves to God and to his laws, to studying the laws, to living the laws, to embodying the laws. So that's the blessing. The blessing is to have enough of what you need so that you can turn your attention to God in the most spiritual of ways and not take him casually, but take him seriously and become elevated in the eyes of God and the world. Dear friends, thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you well, and I wish you shalom.